Okay, you read the title, you know what the deal is. What are we looking at here? The technical, the mechanical, the setup, and miscellaneous. All right, let's do it. Now, this is a thing of beauty for sure. Don't you just love to have and show up with gear that simply looks nice? This one is one of those, no question about it. But in the end, people are going to see the results, not how nice you looked when you created them. So, technical first. How wide can I go on full frame? Now, it depends a little on how much the lens breathes, but we're not going to look at that particular problem in detail. So photo, 3x2 sensor, filter only, 17 to 18 millimeters. VND only, 17 to 18 millimeters. VND plus filter, 18 to 19 millimeters. Video, 16:9 aspect ratio, filter only, 16. VND only, 16. VND plus filter, 16 to 17 millimeters. On Super 35 APS-C crop sensors, you can probably go as wide as 10 to 11 millimeters. I don't own a crop sensor camera, but the ratios are all like around 1.5 to 1.6x. So here's a couple of numbers for you. Okay, now how about color? Color is kind of a sore spot for a lot of VND systems. They have different shifts throughout the range. So let's check out this one. And I'm happy to say color accuracy is quite excellent throughout the range. Very minimal color shift from no filter to the beginning 3 stops. In my tests, it shifted warm about 20 to 40 Kelvin with a slight magenta shift, nothing to really worry about. From 3 to 7 stops, there is hardly any color shift whatsoever. Excellent, really, really good. Now what about sharpness? You do put another glass element in front of the lens, so will your sharpness suffer? And again, this is very, very good glass. Maybe, and that's just a maybe, minimal loss of sharpness, but only if you zoom in to like 300%. So forget about it. Next up, cross-polarization effect. A lot of cheap or budget VND systems suffer from this effect, sometimes heavily, which makes the higher end stops like the 5, 6, 7, 8s pretty much unusable because it gives you super uneven exposure throughout your frame, most likely in the shape of an X pattern. Sometimes the shapes vary, but basically you're not getting even exposure, which results in some pretty wacky shots. Again, happy to say, very little cross-polarization, if any at all. Excellent. You can use all the stops throughout the range, basically without having to worry about it. Overall, very good performance again. So this concludes the technical side of things. Let's move on to the mechanical side and design, let's say. First of all, we get a very nice looking, very well designed pouch, which is not the most important thing, still very nice. We get the lens adapter. You have to select the size when checking out. Anything from 58 to 82 millimeters goes, and others can be purchased separately. My advice would be get the 82 millimeter adapter ring and just buy step-up rings for the lenses you own. Done. Then something I really appreciate, we get a multi-purpose rear cap. Not only does it protect the VND, it can also protect the lens if only the adapter ring is applied, and together with the front cap, it protects the VND system when it's not applied to the camera at all. The front cap with a nice ring for easy removal, also a generic part, my phone case has the exact same one, still very nice combination and very fitting choice aesthetically. Then of course there's the VND system itself. It sits on the adapter ring magnetically and is locked in place by these 2 tiny screws. If they are not pre-installed, then they are inside a tiny plastic cover on the bottom of the pouch. You have to make the adapter ring fit the lens tightly because there is good but noticeable resistance when turning the filter to set the amount of ND. The turning does feel wonderfully smooth though, and it really speaks to the manufacturing quality of this product. There are hard stops and clearly visible marks, which I really appreciate. To remove the VND system completely, you have to loosen the screws. Not all the way though, be careful to not remove them completely and drop them, because they are very hard to find. Overall, very high quality manufacturing throughout the system. Every part, there's no two ways about it, they aced it. Usability is great. Self-explanatory, really. You lock the system via the 2 screws, you set your level of ND, you set your level of polarization, then you add an effects filter like the quarter mist they offer, or any one of the others there are, or you don't, that's up to you. And then you're done. It gives you the exposure you need shooting outside with a wide open lens. It lets you decide the amount of polarization you want with water, glass, foliage, skin, wood, as you already know, any non-metallic reflecting surface. And you can add effects filters by simply stacking them magnetically. I still love the V1, and I still take it everywhere I take my cameras. The Tiffin used to be my backup for the V1. Now the V1 is my backup for the V2. To me, the 3 to 7 stop range is perfect, because I mostly shoot with f2.8 lenses. For f1.4 lenses, wide open, sunny day, I do like the 9 stops max on the V1. On the other hand, I can close the lens down another stop or two on the V2 and be good as well. I really like though that I do not have to switch filters like with the V1. That is a 2 to 5, 6 to 9 stop. And I had to switch the filters many times because I needed that extra stop. Not anymore. Also, the markings on the V1 were not intuitive, at least not to me, or I'm an idiot, but I never could easily wrap my head around them. V2 markings are obvious. V1 and V2, by the way, in case you're wondering, those systems are not compatible. Also, as my last point, my 1-2 punch is an FX6 and an FX3. I mostly do interview type client work, at least talking head type stuff, plus B-roll. So the FX6 is the A cam, the FX3 is the B cam plus B-roll cam. The 3 also goes on the gimbal of course, and sliders and so on, but has to be up to par with the 6 for interview B cam operation. The 6 has the 2 to 7 stop ND built in. With the Freewell V2 on my FX3, I now have what I would consider a near perfect equivalent ND system on my B cam / B-roll cam that is also light enough to be used with sliders, gimbals, and all the other stuff that is there in the ecosystem. So I'm quite the happy camper. That's it. If you liked the video, if you found it helpful, please make sure to leave a thumbs up. It's greatly appreciated. Any kind of comment or feedback is welcome, and I'll try to answer as quickly as possible. All the tech that I've used in this video is linked in the description. As always, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for watching, and hopefully see you again soon.